English 232. Here's your update video. I know it's been a while since we've talked. I have since, in the 2 or 3 weeks since we last talked, I've gone ahead and assigned you guys your groups. So if you look on this week, week 7, on our class page, I went ahead and added our next project, which is our photo essay. So I want to talk about that. The photo essay is an optional group project. So if you want to work with a partner, feel free. If not, you can work on your own. So I've added that, and I'm going to talk about that. And then I've added the voice thread of archetypal posters. I went ahead and built it. I'm just going to go in and talk about a couple, and you guys can ask questions and add things. And if you want to clarify what you've done. Overall, they were pretty cool. A few of you guys just need to read the assignment sheets a little more thoroughly because you missed some key things. But most of you guys did pretty well. So I'll be entering those grades tomorrow on those. So first thing I want to do is talk about the next project, which is your photo essay. And that's due April 8th. Okay, and this project requires you to develop a photo essay of life for a specific group of people. Okay, so you'll decide. The literature between the wars concerns a lot of a variety of people who've been marginalized to gain power and rights. So it's a key time to really look at what life was like for those people. So you're going to use this group to argue that we've made a lot of strides since the Civil War, or we are still facing the same issues that these people faced. So the sources that you'll need to use is the literature. So you'll need to choose 1 to 2 pieces of literature, probably more like 2 to really argue, to help enhance the understanding of the people during that time period. So, for instance, you could do the Harlem Renaissance, and you could talk about what life was like for an African-American female, and you could talk about whether or not African-American females are treated differently or treated the same as they were during that time period. And then you're going to include an interview. So, for instance, if you decide to do African-American females, you would want to interview one and photograph them or get photos from them. And then you can use one other source. So if you want to use like a news story that highlights the issues that African-American women face, that's fine. So basically we're doing a historical and sociological lens. We're using that lens to look at the literature. What you'll do is you'll have 8 pictures, half of which must be original. So if you want to use, 2 pictures from the past, 4 from the present, and 2 if you want to use like 2 from the past, 4 from the time period, and 2 for now, that's fine. Your captions will include 3 to 4 sentences. What you'll include in the captions is like quotes from the people who were photographed that you interviewed, quotes from your stories that highlight what life was like for people during that time, and any credits to the photographer if the photo is not yours, if you borrowed it from someone else. You can go to Library of Congress to find older pictures. So if you want to compare experiences of African-American females from the Civil War time to today, you might go to Library of Congress, okay, and type in Civil War era photography, and you can pretty much find whatever you want. Civil War, slavery, women. Okay. And there's some pictures right there. You could even do slavery, women. Okay. And there's 31. So anyway, notice here's some there, and notice it's a set of 225. So you could use those images if you want. Library of Congress is an open source document, which means that actually the photographs are we all own them. The government owns them, and therefore all citizens own them. And so you can use them at your will. If you want, you can use like a voice thread to compose your essay and narrate it, but it needs to have some voice to it in some sort of way. I would say voice thread's the easiest to use. There's another one called Zaption that apparently works well. And then apparently there's voiceover on Google Slides and PowerPoint. Okay, so I've given you an organizer. And I've also on Moodle given you lots and lots of examples. There's one on young female teens. There's one on the Japanese people after Hiroshima. There's one called Humans of New York that talks about, people who live in big cities. There's one about segregation and civil rights. And then there's one about single dads. So those are your options for examples. On the organizer here, I have some pre-writing. So the first thing you'll kind of think about is, how has America changed or not changed? And I gave you some groups. I gave you Native Americans, men, businessmen, farmers. You can choose any population you want as long as you have some literature to talk about it. So you can list a few changes, things that have changed for them, and maybe things that have stayed the same. So that can help you brainstorm. And then in terms of organizing, kind of decide who you could interview or what you could find to illustrate the change or lack thereof. So you could put your population in here and pick whether it has or has not changed and show that it has not changed, and you could talk about or list people who could prove that, and then you could list some ideas for pictures. And also here, things from the past, this is where you can list your literature. Okay, so that's our next step in our curriculum, is thinking about this time period between the wars, how there's so much change so fast, but we just want to look at one specific group of people, and we read, a variety of literature that does that for us. So that's available. And then don't forget about, again, the voice thread. The next thing I want to talk about is the novel. If you have not already done so, you should be reading it, because next week, week 8, you're going to meet with your group. I have groups ready for you. So if you hit Americana discussion template and discussion schedule. Okay, this first link says groups. If there's been a mistake, just let me know, and I tried to group you the best I could, but I've got 4 groups. I've got the Carnegies, the Rockefellers, the Kennedys, and the Fords. Okay. And then I created some roles if you want. So for instance, somebody could be the essay expert. So someone could be the one that says, hey guys, this would work really well for your essay. So you guys can start building your essay as your group meets. And then by the last week of class, your essay is kind of done, because that essay is the final project. So you should be reading with that in mind. There's a group task assigner. So if somebody wants to volunteer in that row, in that group, and like I said, you can change it out. These are just some suggestions to help you manage your group. But if someone wants to say, all right, here are the people who are doing these group roles this week, then you have the communicator who might be tasked with sending out the mass email reminders. The timeline keeper is just the person who might say, hey, here's how much you need to read. And that person, should probably be the one who's read the majority of the book. There needs to be one person to start the Google document where you'll dump in your group work. And then someone else can be sort of the book pacing, who might, talk about, hey, here's how much we can get done. And can kind of work with the timeline keeper. So anyway, these are just suggestions to kind of help your group if you want to disperse them. So, let's say Johnny didn't want to be the essay expert and he wants to be Google document holder. He can email that member of the group. So, and all you do if you want to contact the group is you just go into your email and you can hit compose, and you just generally type in their name, full name, and it'll come right up. So you can start kind of emailing each other, letting each other know that, hey, next week, we need to have read some of the book. And then notice here are your group roles. And you'll just, what you do is on this sheet, the Google document starter will just go up to file and make a copy while they're in their Gmail. They'll rename it, and then it'll be yours, and you can type all over it. But then whoever's assigning people's group roles, you'll just put it on there. And notice you'll meet with your group every 2 weeks. Okay. That'll be your log entry for that week. So you will not have a log entry that week. Okay. All right. So, so those will not be entries that you'll have to do. So you'll only have log entries related to the literature every other week, because we're slowing down on the literature, because by week 10, we will have read a lot of things. And so we'll be reading a little bit less frequently. So, so notice there's that. Everyone should try the role once. So you have 8, 10, 12, and 14. So that gives everybody a chance to try a different role. So notice here. Now, the key to this group work is that you do not have to be on at the exact same time. Okay. Camera could be on at 3 o'clock in the morning. James Brannon could be on at 6 o'clock at night. Okay. The only things that you are doing is that you are putting in your entry. So if James Brannon's a summarizing stimulator, he can put this in by the deadline, and then Camera can put in her vocabulary verifier information. Okay. And then you come in and you check back and you see places where you can contribute to the discussion. And then the summarizer, discussion director, can go in and answer some final thoughts about that. Okay. And you'll just do that each time. And there's a summarizing stimulator begins the discussion and ends the discussion each week or every 2 weeks. Okay. So notice there's a place for everyone to do that. So all you'll do is you'll put this link. Notice it's a link. You'll copy that link and you'll paste it into your log entry for that week. And that is your log entry. So week 8, your log entry will be meet with your group digitally. Does not have to be face-to-face. It does not have to be at the same time. You just need to all need to agree on the timeline. Okay. And you can do that by emailing each other back and forth. Okay. So that's what you're going to start next week, week 8. So I wanted to make sure you guys understood that. Now, why are you doing this? To help each other with the final essay. Okay. Always keep that in mind. And that final essay is, what does it mean to be an American? And you're filtering that through this novel, comparing the novel to what we're reading. Okay. And that's where the critical connector comes in. So that's why everybody can do that for that week, or does it different weeks. Okay. So that's a little bit of what you've got going on. Again, a lot of this stuff, and notice this week 8 is just really to get everybody started. That's where you can introduce each other, introduce the novel. I'll have a couple of discussions. I'm working on a video now for part 1 to help you guys get started. So that's available as well. Week 9, we'll have our second test. So week 8, probably end of this week, but I'll put up on week 8 just some review information. And there's also a midterm conference. So if you want to meet with me to talk about some concerns about the test, that's fine. Again, notice I've got virtual meetings. My virtual office hours are Tuesday nights from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. It usually ends up being around 9 because I get busy, but if you need to meet through 9:30, just let me know. Just don't get on at 9:25. And then Thursday mornings, I'm on from about 7:45. And I usually just stay on till 10, but generally I try to wrap up around 9 because I'm just doing stuff. If there are other times that you need to meet, you just need to shoot me an email. But all you do is you click this, and it brings this up. And you just hit join, and that's it. And you can do it on your cell phone. You can do it on your tablet. You can do it wherever. But I'm already on, and it'll show that I'm on. It'll say Holly Whistler's on, and you can just get on and we can talk, and I can clarify things. I also have a face-to-face class. It's the exact same thing at 10:30 on Tuesday, Thursday in 4102, I think, and might be 4101. Anyway, so that's the room. If you ever want to come, I've had a few people come, feel free to come. It'll be less confusing. So again, those are some things that you guys need to be aware of. So if you'll just email me if you're struggling, I've emailed a few of you, and just let me know how I can help you. If we need to meet, we can meet face to face. You can always come to the writing studio, which is in 421315, to get help. There are lots of students there who've had literature before. If you feel like literature is not your thing, so to speak. So again, just let me know if you need anything, and I'll be in touch.